Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Sarah Wong. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Thousands of railway fans flocked to catch the first train of the East Rail Line's Cross Harbor extension. Incoming Chief Executive John Lee says he knows who he wants to be his number 2. And authorities in the U.S. say a supermarket shooting in the city of Buffalo was racially motivated. After much delay, the Cross Harbor section of the MTR's East Rail Line launched today. Nearly 20,000 passengers, including excited rail fans, flocked to take the first trains this morning. Isaac Lee was there.
It was 4 a.m. and the sun wasn't even out yet. But hundreds of eager train enthusiasts were already lined up outside the exhibition center station in Wong. Some had waited overnight, just so they could catch the first train at the brand new East Rail Line station.
A bit tired, but I think it is worth it because I can enjoy this joyful moment. When I was very small, I've already known that there will be an East Rail Line extension, but now I have a chance to take it, so I feel very excited.
There was a rush to get into the station as soon as the gates opened. And a scramble to hop onto the very first train of the extended line, which departed at 5:26 a.m., 1 minute behind schedule. Also joining the early hour brouhaha was MTR Corporation Managing Director Eddie Lau, who distributed souvenirs to rail enthusiasts. This trip departing from the Exhibition Center station was actually a one-off journey. This extension now joins the massive East Rail Line connecting Shenzhen with Admiralty, which used to be a 54-minute train journey. Passengers now save around 15 minutes getting from the new territories to Hong Kong Island.
You can go to my school, so...
This Shatin family with children studying in Apley Chow expressed excitement that they could cross the harbour in a single trip. And so were other passengers.
When I take a bus or some transport from Hong Kong Station to Exhibition Center or Causeway Bay, around 10 to 5 minutes to go there, but take the train around 3 to 5 minutes.
The East Rail Line's Cross Harbor extension was one of the most anticipated upgrades to the MTR system in recent years, and now is finally open to the public. But it's been a long time coming. The section was originally scheduled to open in 2020, but suffered multiple delays as the MTRC was plagued by one scandal after another. Isaac Lee, HKIBC.
The city's sole railway operator assured it is prepared for the extra burden on Admiralty Station following today's extension of the East Rail Line. The station is currently an interchange point for 4 MTR routes.
I would like to emphasize that the new steering system and the new train actually give us a better capacity to carry the necessary loading that we predict. And I would suggest all passengers please maximize the usage of all these car loading indicators we provide at the platform to find the best car that able to carry you to the next destination that you need. We will deploy more than 400 staff to look after how the passenger actually use our facilities.
In other news, Chief Executive-elect John Lee says he already has a Chief Secretary candidate in mind. He added that he's working closely with his predecessor, Carrie Lam, on the government's restructuring plan. Joanna Ho reports.
A week after his official election, the city's next leader, John Lee, is already busy preparing for Hong Kong's top job. This morning, he signed a declaration to affirm he is not affiliated with any political party, nor will he be after taking office. The process was witnessed by his campaign office deputy director, Raymond Tam. Asked when Beijing State Council will officially appoint him into office, Li only said the central government will make the arrangements. He also teased about having somebody in mind as his number 2, but stopped short of providing names for his cabinet. He added that he is inclined to concur with incumbent Chief Executive Carrie Lam's recommendations on government's restructuring plans.
Or there are points which I have discussed with her, and we did have a useful discussion on the issues that I raised, and I have already reflected my views to the CE office. The CE office and the Chief Executive-elect office has been in close contact to work out an agreed formulation for the process to go ahead for the deliberation of EXCO.
The CE-elect answered questions from the media about the arrest of 5612 Humanitarian Relief Fund trustees, including Cardinal Joseph Zen. Li, who's also Catholic, said police should act according to laws no matter who the suspect is. He also reiterated once again that there is press freedom in Hong Kong, and that the court would adjudicate fairly if the government violates it. Authorities are only worried about people who pretend to be journalists, he said. Joanna Ho, HKIBC.
Health officials have identified another potential COVID cluster. This time is an eatery in Kwun Tong. A compulsory testing order has been issued to everyone who was there on May 9th from 5 p.m. till midnight. This came as Hong Kong recorded another 259 infections today, 33 of which were imported. They include 11 more customers and staff from Shenzhen's Sky Cuisine cluster, taking the tally to 52. One case also came from the Sun Mong Snooker Club in Hong Kong, bringing that tally to 13. Turning overseas, a teenage white male opened fire in a supermarket in the U.S. city of Buffalo, killing 10 people and injuring 3 others. Authorities believe the shooting was a racially motivated hate crime, since almost all the victims were black. Law enforcement officers rushed to this grocery store in the U.S. city of Buffalo after a gunman wearing military gear and armor went on a shooting spree. 10 people, including 9 customers, were killed and 3 employees were injured. All but 2 of the struck victims were black. Authorities labeled the deadly rampage as a hate-filled act of racially motivated violent extremism. The alleged gunman was 18-year-old Peyton Gendron, who was detained without bail after pleading not guilty to first-degree murder. He was believed to have driven several hours from his home to mount the attack, which he live-streamed on social media platform Twitch.
Mark my words, we'll be aggressive in our pursuit of anyone who subscribes to the ideals professed by other white supremacists, and how there's a feeding frenzy on social media platforms where hate festers more hate. That has to stop.
But this witness was not convinced that a shooting was targeted.
No, it couldn't have been, because when I first saw him shooting, he shot a woman, he shot a deacon, he shot another woman, and then he went in the store and started shooting again. So I don't know who he was shooting at.
President Joe Biden condemned the shooting as abhorrent and vowed to crack down on domestic terrorism. The FBI is investigating the massacre, which saw the highest number of mass shooting fatalities in the United States this year. In a blow to Russia's war goal, Ukrainian troops are one step closer to retaking their second largest city, Kharkiv. Kharkiv's mayor declared that Ukraine has won the battle of his city and people have started returning. The old capital of Soviet Ukraine has been under heavy bombardment since the war began almost 3 months ago. But a Ukrainian victory is far from sight, as Moscow is still shelling villages north of Kharkiv and made slow but incremental gains in the south and east. Negotiations over evacuating Ukrainian fighters trapped in the southern city of Mariupol also show no signs of any breakthrough. Meanwhile, Ukraine has won this year's Eurovision singing contest, riding an upsurge in public support in the wake of Russia's invasion. Members of the folk rap group Kalush Orchestra embraced each other as they were set to return to Ukraine to defend their country. Their song Stefania won 439 fan votes, the highest televote count in the competition's 66-year history. Russia was barred from competing after it attacked its southern neighbor in February. President Volodymyr Zelensky hailed Ukraine's victory and pledged to hold next year's Eurovision in battle-scarred Mariupol. North Korea added almost 300,000 more suspected COVID cases today as the country entered its fourth day of draconian lockdowns. There were also 15 more deaths from what state media are calling fever symptoms. Authorities are blaming the deaths on people's lack of understanding, leading to the flawed administration of medication. On Thursday, the hermit nation officially reported its first suspected COVID cases since the pandemic began. But with numbers skyrocketing ever since, there are doubts it had previously managed to keep the virus out as claimed. On to the weather now. Tomorrow will be cool and mainly cloudy with a few showers. Temperatures will drop to a low of 19 degrees. The rainy days are expected to end soon as sunny periods will return on Tuesday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for watching. Good night.